Hello guys and welcome to episode 3 of What an Absolute Fit Show. Today I've got my first guest. I'm talking to my good friend and client Louise about body dysmorphia, why it's important to find the right people to train with and the right place to train, and how scary the fitness industry can be at times. I really hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoyed recording it. I'll see you on the other side. Lifting and we are clanging and banging some weight in the gym while we're going to have a little podcast and a little show going on at the same time. So my first question for Louise today, right, is what do you think of the fitness industry at the moment from a non-trainer, non-coach point of view? And it's actually an interest that I've got in asking people this question, because if like most of the people that I know and talk to are either coaches, or clients or people that have got an invested interest in the fitness industry. I'm just wondering what your take on it is.
Like, it's terrifying.
You think it's terrifying?
Absolutely terrifying.
That's really interesting. Okay,
yeah.
Why is it so terrifying? What is it about?
Because it's a case of, it's quite intimidating.
Yeah.
Massively. Yeah, hugely intimidating. So I try and put myself in the mindset of someone that's walking into the gym for the first time.
Yeah.
And I still kind of feel that way. It's kind of like, you touched upon this not long back with me, actually.
Yeah.
Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, I met. Yeah.
It's very similar to that. And I still feel that way when coming into the gym. Because...
you feel like an imposter coming in. Like what? Like
yeah.
You don't belong?
It's not that I don't belong. It's like I don't feel like I'm good enough to belong.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like I'm good enough at my sport yet.
Right,
but what that does is that just pushes me further and keeps me going and going towards it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I find the fitness industry is quite terrifying because it's like, you're never going to be as strong as, let's say, for instance, Janet, who weighs 60 kilo and she can snatch 60 kilo like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And it's like, you walk in and you see that and you're like, oh man, am I ever going to be this way?
Okay, yeah.
So, and it's like, well, I don't know. Janet could have been training for 10 years.
You don't know.
So you don't know. And
so this is something that I've touched on before, and I want to touch on in later shows as well. And that's how we compare ourselves to other people all the time, instead of looking inwardly at our own goals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, who really gives a fuck what anybody else is doing?
Yeah.
We do. Obviously we do. Otherwise, Instagram and fucking Facebook and TikTok wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
It'd just be, I'm just focusing on me. But we don't. We walk in, right? And we walk into the gym and we assume that everybody's looking at us and what we're doing and looking at how weak we are and how shit we are. When in fact,
no one cares.
Nobody gives a shit. They're too bothered about doing their own thing.
Yeah. And do you know what? A lot of the time it is like when you walk into a gym and you think, oh, everyone's looking at me because I don't belong here, or I'm doing it wrong, or I'm not doing it right. 9 times out of 10, they're looking at you because you look fucking
awesome, mate. You look awesome. That's the thing. That's what they're doing. And that brings me on to, right, body confidence in the gym. Mm-hmm. Right? What's your take on, you get it all the time. Like, you walk in, you've just said before, oh, when I walk in, I don't feel confident, right? What can we do as an industry, coaches, to promote body confidence without also promoting an unhealthy, living?
I don't know, to be honest, because I think a lot of it comes from within.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of it actually, you did your cast last week on your why.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is interlinked with that. And I think it's very personal to each person being in that mindset. So I don't know how the industry could support it, or how a coach or the, whatever could actually support that. I mean, I guess seeing people's journeys is a good one. That's one thing I actually love. Yeah. So when you see someone that's like walked in, literally it's either like someone that's dead small and then is built into this monster, or quite a larger person who's lost a lot of weight and done really well. But the thing that I like seeing with that is sport related as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like, not just the fact that the person's like lost the weight or gained the weight or whatever, but they can actually do something incredible. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like CrossFit, for instance.
Yeah.
CrossFit blows my mind. No, it does.
Blows my mind as well.
Yeah, it absolutely. I'm sorry, but people that do CrossFit, I've got so much respect for them.
Yeah.
Because not only can they lift heavy, they can walk on their hands. They can do ridiculous amounts of pull-ups. They can do like muscle-ups and everything like that. So they've like got absolutely everything. So that's like one of my favorite things to see, actually, like CrossFitters and stuff. So
pulling off random stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Because it's like random as anything, but it's like it is CrossFit because it's crossing over everything. And my God, they look incredible.
They do. A lot of the time they do.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, a lot of CrossFitters, although, you know, I think everybody gives a shit about what they look like. If they're saying they don't care what they look, everybody comes to the gym and everybody exercises at least 50% of the time to look better naked.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's
the main reason. So everybody so when people say, "Oh, I don't train to look better," they're fucking full of shit.
Yeah.
But right, having that or non-aesthetic point, do you know what I mean? To actually work towards and act like, "Oh, I'm going to try and get like my 500-meter row faster." Or I'm going to try and lift heavier. Which may not have a direct carryover to how you look aesthetically. But as a consequence of that, you're going to look better aesthetically by putting on more muscle or losing more body fat and things like that. So brings me on quite nicely, that does, to body dysmorphia. But not body dysmorphia. I don't want to get personal on this one between like you and me and how we see ourselves with body dysmorphia. It's more as an industry, do you think it's got worse? And why do you think it's got worse? Because I certainly do. I think it's got, first off, I'll tell you what I think, right?
Okay.
I think body dysmorphia, I think most people that walk into a gym these days have got a slight body dysmorphia. Right? Because they walk in and there's always somebody better, whether that's online, whether that's on Instagram, social media, or whether that's in your gym, there's always going to be somebody better. And there's always going to be somebody bigger. There's always going to be somebody faster and can lift more. And it gets people riled up and it gets people into people's heads. And it's not a good thing at all. No. So I suppose I am going to ask some personal questions because,
by all means,
you know, it's something that you've opened up to me about having body dysmorphia when you first started and you know, not being particularly happy in your body. So I just want you to tell me your story. I know it, but for anybody that's going to listen, just tell me your story and how you've actually managed to overcome that. Okay, so let's start from the beginnings, from when you first stepped into a gym and the reasons why you stepped into a gym. Like in my last podcast, I discussed why, right? I want to know your why. Back then, right?
Tell you what,
you're happy to tell it.
Can I just do a snatch?
Yeah, do a snatch.
Let me think it over.
Think, mate.
Right.
Do a snatch. Have a think. I'm going to move this because I'm pretty sure I'm cutting your head off here. Right. So let me just get this on a little bit. That's the one. Cool. All right. Good to go. All right. Get that snatch in. By the way, if you're not watching this and you're just listening to it on Spotify or whatever, we're lifting. All right. That's why the word snatch is coming up quite a lot. It's an Olympic lifting movement.
It's not as dodgy as it sounds.
No. Nice. That's sound. That's sick. Really good.
Right.
Really, really good. Go on then.
So, right, my story. The reason I walked into a gym was relationship breakup.
Okay.
I'll do the short version of this.
Yeah.
I was with someone for 5 years.
Yeah.
Don't want to tar her name too much or anything like that, but basically, I was with someone for 5 years, and it didn't work out. Long story cut short, we wanted different things, and it broke my heart. Okay. So breakup diet was the first. That was my why as such. So I didn't feel great about myself, and I was reflecting back over them 5 years of exactly how much I'd changed throughout them 5 years, and I wanted to recapture how I used to be. Right. So I think it might have been a case of early set midlife crisis and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So basically, it was. Do you know what? It was actually, thinking about it now, loss of control.
Okay.
Complete and utter loss of control. I felt like I lost control of my life because my life changed like that overnight. I'd gone from living in a 2-bed house with a pet cat, a project car, driveway and all that, to renting a room with a single bed in it overnight. That happened overnight, and I lost control, definitely, 100%. Lost control. And I thought to myself, it's the best way I can gain control. I know, I can destroy my body. And looking in the mirror, what I saw was quite a big girl. Like, I was probably not as big as I made myself out to be.
No, I've seen pictures,
but,
and I've heard the way that you made yourself out to be.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as bad as what you're saying. You
No.
know what I mean? It may not have been the weight that you wanted to sit at naturally, but it was a weight that you potentially could have sat at naturally if you wanted to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it wasn't as, you know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, so basically, felt like I lost control. So, okay, how can I control it? I can control my body. And then that's when it really started kicking off.
Okay.
So I dropped stupid amounts of weight and I did everything the wrong way. 100%. Did it all the wrong way. To the point where I was taking diet pills and I was actually being sick quite a bit with it as well. Because I was taking diet pills, so I don't want to say which ones.
No.
I was taking them and then I was throwing up straight after.
Jesus.
So I wasn't eating much. If I was to calculate my calories a day, 1,000, 1,200.
Yeah. I mean, I will just say, before I let you carry on, that if anybody is potentially listening to this or watching this and you're finding that you're maybe in the same sort of position and you're doing the same sort of thing as what Lou has just described that she was doing, then like you need to go and speak to somebody. You need to go and get that sorted out, because you can't carry on like that. You've managed to get yourself out of that, but there is help out there. And I'll put in the description below some different organizations and places that you can go and people that you can speak to, to help you to get out of that cycle.
Yeah. It was dangerous.
Yeah.
It was so dangerous, and it was just unhealthy, extremely unhealthy. And looking back, I was miserable.
Yeah, I bet.
Massively miserable. And I was
I'm not surprised, mate, to be honest with you. Like, do you know what I mean? If that's what's going on.
And so I took myself down weight wise to 7 3/4 stone.
Good deal.
Yeah. So I dropped massively.
Okay.
And then it got to a point where it wasn't enough anymore. Wasn't enough. And even though I was this tiny person, and a lot of people were saying to me, "Oh God, you're so small, you're so tiny, like your abs are absolutely ripped and stuff like that."
Yeah.
Still looking at myself in the mirror, all I could see was that woman pre-diet, the big girl.
Yeah.
That's all I could see.
Yeah.
And then that's when I was like, I need some help here.
Yeah.
And I did seek help.
Yeah.
I've been through like all kinds of therapy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so with that, a lot of it is related to the fact of what's going on up here and my way of coping with trauma that I've had in my life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not just a relationship. There's other things that I won't go into today, but
the only thing that you felt that you could control was what was going in and out of your mouth and the amount of activity that you could perform.
That's it. Yeah.
To change your body.
And I kept going further and further and further because I could not unsee that girl that basically got abandoned.
Yeah.
I couldn't unsee it.
Yeah.
And so that's why I kept going and going and going until I got to my point of where pretty much it was COVID, around about COVID era.
Yeah.
To where I couldn't go to the gym anymore. Couldn't do it anymore. So I was sat at this same weight for a bit. And then once COVID was over and then once I could go back to the gym, that's when I really got into therapy. And we explored things and stuff like that. And a lot of it's down to control, down to a form of like punishment as well.
Okay.
Taking it out on myself, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's what it was down to. So I hit my limit with it, and then I thought, right, okay, I've got to change.
Okay. So after COVID, what happens? What happened after COVID when you got back into the gym? Was there a different mindset after the therapy? And
wasn't quite there.
Wasn't quite there?
No, wasn't quite there, but it was getting better.
Okay.
It was coming, but it was still there. I was still having a bit of a battle with the woman in the mirror.
Yeah.
And so that's when I started powerlifting.
Yeah.
Because.
And that's pretty much when we met, right? Was it a little bit before that?
It was about a year before.
Yeah.
But I was a bad powerlifter.
Okay.
I was terrible. My form was ridiculously stupid. Banana back.
Well, we know.
Yeah. Hey, we knocked it out of me though, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
We got it out of me.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was down to So what I did was I changed gyms as well.
Yeah.
So
I'm just going to butt in there a little bit. Sorry to
no,
butt in when you're
please.
mid-flow, but that can have a big effect. That can have a big effect, mate. Like if you're training in a gym that's got a bit of a toxic atmosphere or a few toxic people in there that are going at the same time as you, fucking hell, it can completely change your life, completely change the way that you train, completely change the way that you look at yourself.
Yeah.
Right? A big part of like your training is down to the community that you're in.
Massively.
So like here now, do you know what I mean? In this gym that we're at, we know that we've got a fucking awesome community.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's loads of people and everybody supports each other.
Yeah.
It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that. You know, so yeah, you're right. It has got a massive deal. Like,
well, that's it, because like the gym that I went to, there wasn't much community about it whatsoever.
Yeah.
It was basically like a revolving door. Literally, it was a revolving door. You walk in, it's a revolving door, but that's an analogy for it. But no, that's how it was. It was basically just equipment, and that's it. That's all it was. Whereas here, like, this is my life, you know what I mean? This is 100%, this place is my life.
Yeah.
Like, I've made so many friends here that are now friends for life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when I come here, I'm like really happy to be here. And one example I like to give you, obviously, you know, I've been ill for the past couple of weeks or whatever. Well, when I came back from the first session, like, a lot of people were really happy to see me.
Yeah.
And I found that really touching, because it's rare to get something like that.
It is.
And it's just nice.
It is.
That's the only way I can describe it, just nice.
So yeah, you got to find yourself the right gym as well. The right people to train with. That are going to support you through it as well, you know?
That's it.
Everybody bigging each other up. That's what you want. You don't really want people sort of, you know, putting you down and stuff. You want a good community that's going to build you up.
That's it,
So after you started powerlifting, and I'm assuming that's probably when, I mean, tell me otherwise, but that's when that shift started from being all about aesthetics and how you look to actually what your body can do.
Yeah, I tell you what shifted me. So I remember it to this day, actually. I could not get a bench. And the bench that I could not get was 47.5.
Okay.
Right? 2 weeks prior, I knocked out 50. But I could not get 47.5. And I tore myself to shreds over that.
Yeah.
Absolutely ripped myself to shreds. Then my squats started failing. And then my deadlift started going as well. And I was gutted about my deadlifts because they were my favourite. So that was my wake-up moment. My wake-up moment was, you can't continue this way because your body is not going to allow you to do this. Something's got to give. So I thought, right, okay, I haven't got the right mindset to bulk at the minute or change my diet at the minute, because whilst still training powerlifting at that point, I was on a deficit of 1,400, 1,500.
Jesus.
Trying to powerlift. It's not normal. It's the wrong way of doing things. But I was so obsessed with staying shredded. I went that way. So
you're always just going to plateau.
I was never going to get anywhere. So what changed it for me, to be honest, is Olympic lifting. 100% Olympic lifting. Like, I get a lot more pleasure out of Olympic lifting. It feels nice, and I feel strong doing it.
Constantly learning, and you're never going to master it.
No, you're never going to. No, it's always going to be a continual battle. Whereas with powerlifting, it was a case of you can go far with it. Do you know what I mean? You can keep going and going and going and going, but you will eventually hit your plateau. Whereas with Olympic lifting, the sky's the limit.
You got all that.
You're never going to get the perfect snatch.
Absolutely. No. Well, there you go. Says, I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I had a load of questions written for you, but your story has just covered most of them, right? There's probably like one that, like, why would you want to focus on aesthetic goals? Sorry, why would you want to focus on fitness goals over aesthetic goals? And what have you actually got out of it? Like, do you think that it's obviously had a positive impact on your mindset and your outlook, going from, this is how I want to look, this is how I want to look, to this is what I want to lift, this is what I want to lift. You know, like, what advice would you give to anybody that's in that sort of, all I want to do is lose some weight, or all I want to do is put muscle on, right? Would you give that advice to say, like, well, maybe you should look at potentially finding a fitness related goal over just being totally obsessed with your aesthetic goal? Because for me, like I will tell most of my clients that come in that are like, right, okay, I want to lose some weight. And I'll be like, okay, instead of just focusing on that, let's focus on you achieving this goal, whatever the goal is, whether it's like, okay, let's maybe try and get that 500-meter row.
Yeah.
In a better time. Or let's try, even if it is high volume hit training or whatever it is, let's focus in on getting better at that rather than just always being on the scales and stuff. And I've said to you before, I'm going to take your scales off you, and put them in my boot. Do you know what I mean? Stop you from weighing yourself and stuff, because I wanted you to come away from just looking at aesthetics and how you look and focus more on. So do you think that's helped your mindset a lot in training and you coming to the gym?
To be honest, yeah, having the way I like to call it, one of my friends said this to me not long back, but it's something to scratch your brain.
Yeah.
Something to itch your brain. With Olympic lifting, it itches my brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said, I find the movement and everything about it like really stimulating. Well, that's the only way I can say it.
I'm really glad that you have found something.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna do a little snatchy snatch now?
I'm gonna do a little sorry,
do a little snatchy snatch. Go on.
It's been staring at me.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, that was a bit more of a power one, wasn't it?
All right. Get that overhead squat in as well. That's it. Awesome. Ass to grass, mate. Go on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love
nice.
that.
All right. So I'm actually going to start to wrap it up a bit, because I think I've got most of the information that I want. You pretty much poured your heart out and told me more than I ever thought that you would, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's good that you actually feel comfortable around me to tell me that and comfortable enough to put it out onto the podcast.
For sure.
I want to ask you 2 more questions. These are questions that I'm going to ask every single guest.
Right. Yeah.
I'll come on. Right. Number 1. What's your favourite music to train to?
Metal.
Metal music. Okay. Anything in particular? Got anything out there you listen to at the moment?
Slipknot.
You like Slipknot?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Slipknot. Listen to some Slipknot. Sick.
Yeah.
Probably sick.
Oh, Bad Omens. I'm obsessed with them at the minute as well. Yeah. Or anything that's like screamy.
Anything
and like...
So I at the moment, I'm completely different. Right. So I used to be like that. For me, it was either metal music or drum and bass. Okay.
Oh, right.
But now I've started, if I've got a heavy lift or something that I'm so say I'm doing some Olympic lifting, for example.
Yeah.
Right. I find that metal music or drum and bass or any music that's got a drop, has got that's for me, that's like my hype man. It gets me too hyped. And I'm like, let's go. Right. And I'll grip the bar and I'll rip the bar and I will fail most of the time because I've not thought about it. Whereas if I'm just listening to a podcast or an audio book, right, my mind's almost clear. My mind's clear and I can approach that bar and I can do that. And then if I'm doing some sort of Metcon or CrossFit workout or whatever, or resistance training, I'm mostly listening to country music at the moment because it's chilling me out. Yeah. So it's weird, isn't it? Different vibes.
Well, that's it.
So, awesome. Last question.
Okay.
Right. So you're going to give me a workout, and I'm going to make my next guest do it with me.
Who's your next guest?
I don't know yet. Right. So I reckon. So we did a session before this, we did a complex, didn't we?
Yes.
So we called it the Lou complex. So what it is 1 full snatch, followed by 1 hang power snatch, followed by an overhead squat, followed by a snatch balance. Yeah. Right. So shall we say that that's going to be your workout to do?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So the next person that comes on, right, while I'm interviewing them, is going to be doing your complex. Or I'm also going to be teaching them to do your complex.
Do you know what? Just that.
Yeah.
The fact that you called it the Lou complex was awesome.
Yeah.
And that actually shows that you care about your clients.
Well,
And that's what I really like about you, is the fact that you doing something like that. Everyone loves to feel special. Yeah. Everyone loves to feel like they matter. So by doing a Lou complex, it's it's made me feel really good, to be fair. So let's say if your other client's called, I don't know, John. Yeah. Make a complex with John, make something special for him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Watch what he does and what he's best at and what makes him feel good. Yeah. John complex. Yeah. Or John's workout. Yeah. Stuff that he really likes doing. Yeah. He can come in and then do it. Do you know what I mean? Well, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then pass it on to other people.
Well, that's it. Because I found one thing that really helps in the fitness industry is actually building trust. That's huge. Yeah. That is absolutely massive. Yeah. So if you can trust your PT or your partner or someone that you're training with, they'll open up to you more.
Yeah.
And then they'll be able to, you might be able to help them go down a different direction. So like, I can only use myself as an example, like, because I trust you. And when you said to me, come on, let's give Olympic lifting a go.
Yeah.
I'm like, right, okay, yeah, I trust you. I'll do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And now I'm just obsessed with it.
Obsessed with it, yeah.
So if like that trust can be built, then you can really, to build the trust, get to know the person, find out their whys, get into them, and then push them on their path. Whether that be powerlifting, strong woman, crazy CrossFitters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what's helped me.
Oh,
having
absolutely.
that trust with you and building that relationship with you, so I can open up to you. You can understand me, and the fact that you've got the time and patience to understand me, I can like let myself go with you, and therefore we can look at, right, okay, we know her whys, we know why she's upset and hurting. Let's help her out and let's take her forward into something that she's really going to be good at one day.
Awesome.
Because I know eventually, once I drop my ass a bit more, I know eventually if I put my heart, mind, body and soul and everything into this, I'll get good at it.
Awesome.
I know I will. So
awesome.
it's.
I know you will.
Yes.
I know you will. Awesome, Luke. Thank you very much. I'm going to
welcome.
Draw a line there and we'll finish. Thanks for coming.
All right, no problem.
Okay, guys, thank you very much for listening to episode 3. I just want to take a little bit of time just to thank Louise for opening up and talking about her personal journey with body dysmorphia. I didn't think she was going to open up that much about it, but I think it's something that people can listen to and people can relate to. So I really hope that you guys got some out of that show. Thank you very much for listening again, and I will see you in episode 4.